How y'all doing out there? Ben from TM Combustors here, crashing a wave of anti-DMCA activism all over you. So, libTmcNnDetect did not turn out the way I wanted it to. Like, it didn't gain much traction, and also I got banned from 2 different Discord servers because of it. The second one that banned me because of it actually explained in depth why my behavior was dangerous and why I shouldn't be doing this and why I need a new approach. Okay, so I just want to say something, and it's that I have autism, so I sometimes struggle to pick up on social cues as to like when it's time to stop something. It's a struggle that's gotten me in trouble so many times. I think more people should just like recognize that about me. And there's a bit of hypocrisy and all this. It's not just ableism, it's also hypocrisy with the second server that banned me, because I know for a fact that the moderator of that server one of the moderators of that server is deaf. So someone who has a disability being mean to someone else who has a disability. Now, deafness and autism are completely different disabilities, but still. Yeah. Thing is, well, I did struggle to pick up on the social cues that it was time to stop. I should have stopped sooner. Yeah. I wouldn't have been banned from either of those servers then. So here was the earliest sign. When I was asking the Nintendo Ninja victims if they wanted to beta test, I did not get the 7 beta testers I wanted. So the thing is, Kurodode and Insomniac Overlord never responded to me, and the rest all said they did not want to be beta testers. One of them even called me Dunning-Kruger, and now I see he was right. You know, I'm actually going to reveal who it was who called me Dunning-Kruger. It was Cyrus M. Yes, this is, I think, the 4th time Cyrus M has called me Dunning-Kruger, and every single time he was right. And the second server I was banned from, one of the moderators of that server also called me Dunning-Kruger. Not the moderator who's deaf, a different moderator. So, you know, I think to help this video reach out to the people of those servers, I'm actually going to reveal which servers it was I was banned from. The first was the Pokemon Switch modding server owned by some Game Banana staff. The server's just called Pokemon Switch Modding. Yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't my E621 server tag that got me banned. It was promoting libTmcNnDetect that got me banned. So, Excelsior, the moderator, well, one of the moderators of that server, who also happens to be a Game Banana staff member, they told me that the project was really risky and that it could put the server in danger. They didn't really explain why, though. So, the second server I was banned from was after the launch of libTmcNnDetect. That one was before the launch of libTmcNnDetect. This next one was after. It was the official Discord server of the Pokemon porn site AGNPH. I was banned from that Discord server for promoting libTmcNnDetect as well. That server, they were a lot more clear about why those behaviors were dangerous and could put the server at risk. They basically said that libTmcNnDetect is just fundamentally flawed. Like, people were trying to tell me this for so long, and I wasn't listening. But now it's finally time I take their advice. This does not mean I'm stepping away from DMCA activism. I'm still doing anti-DMCA activism, but I'm taking a different approach now. This also does not mean that TMC SDK is being discontinued. Development of that will continue. So, here's the plan going forward. My new plan as to how I'm going to fight against the evils of DMCA will take years to complete. In fact, some of the Nintendo Ninja victims I tried reaching out to might even be dead by the time it's complete. But I think it's worth it. So, yeah. Thing is, what I'm going to be doing is turning TM Combustors into a full-blown company. This could take a very long time, especially considering I'm still a college student. Yeah. Remember, I'm 23 years old and I'm a college student. So this could take a while for me to turn TM Combustors into a full-blown company. But yeah. We'll be a tech company that isn't like the competition in that we're not a greedy company. In fact, we would make it very easy for the end users even to report corporate greed so that these reports will go directly to TM Combustors HR and we will fire the developer who did something greedy. Yeah. That's one thing we'll do. You know, this means I probably won't be working at Chuck E. Cheese for much longer. Because, yeah, that's my current occupation. So, yeah, turning TM Combustors into a full-blown company. Like, more specifically, a tech company. So, one of the things I'm going to say is the products we sell will be a tad more expensive than the competition, but some of the proceeds will go towards fighting against corporate greed and laws that enable corporate greed, as in legal battles against those. As I like to say, the TM Combustors teachers are not strict about copyright law, they're strict about the Constitution, which is mutually exclusive with being strict about copyright law due to how unconstitutional the current copyright system is. I can see both First Amendment violations and Fifth Amendment violations in it, possibly more parts to the Constitution. Yeah. You know, it's like the lyrics to that diss track I made go. We're the TM Combustors teachers. For better laws, we are the preachers. Though I may prefer Vaporeons, let me hear you all say go Flareons. And speaking of that diss track, I am going to slightly change the lyrics to it. The second verse was just cringe. And not only that, it mentions libTmcNnDetect. So the second verse will instead talk about individual Nintendo Ninja victims being protected from the evils of DMCA. And I'm thinking the 3 different Nintendo Ninja victims I dreamed about, which are Insomniac Overlord, Gary Bowser, and Bunny. Those are the 3 that have actually been in dreams that I've had. Yeah. Kind of ironic that those 3 have all been in dreams that I've had, despite Gary Bowser being the only one who I know what he looks like. Yeah. Also, I want to say that I'm going to slightly change the design of Hono and slightly change the purpose of Hono. Hono is still going to be a Flareon, still going to have the optional visible male parts, but his collar tag will be slightly different. His collar tag will just say Hono on it. Still shield shaped, but it says Hono on it in a black font instead of a red font. Yeah. Also, like I said, slightly change the design and purpose of Hono, so that's the design change. The purpose change is that he's just going to be a general purpose anti-DMCA mascot instead of just specifically for libTmcNnDetect. He's going to be a general purpose anti-DMCA mascot. Yeah. I mean, makes sense to have the anti-DMCA mascot be based off a copyrighted character, and more specifically a character copyrighted by a company that's very strict about copyright. Like, that makes a lot of sense. That's why I still kept the Flareon design. Yeah. I wonder what the EFF and ACLU will think of my anti-DMCA mascot idea. I actually don't live very far away from the ACLU headquarters, so yeah. Because I know that they're based in Chicago. Yeah. So, thing is, what I'm going to be doing about TMC SDK is I'm going to be still porting it to Mac OS, maybe even porting it to the Switch with like Homebrew. But libTmcNnDetect will still be left in it. However, it will contain a disclaimer saying not to use it for the law enforcement module of Hippocratic License 3 and to only use it for other parts of Hippocratic License 3, as using it for the law enforcement module is what got me in all this trouble. So, like, use it to prevent transphobes from getting into stuff, for example, because, like, the discrimination part of Hippocratic License 3. Sorry, that was, like, the first example that came to mind. Also, I'm gonna change it from being an evil bit solution to being AI based. Though this update is going to take a very long time to make. So just try to avoid using libTmcNnDetect unless absolutely necessary until these updates are pushed. And even when these updates are pushed, don't use it to try to prevent law enforcement. That's for sure going to get you in trouble. So yeah. I guess here's a slight tangent, but speaking of what I said about maybe porting TMC SDK to Switch Homebrew, I saw that update version 21 broke a bunch of Homebrew apps, including Eevee, that Homebrew app I made 5 years ago. So what I'm going to be doing is rewriting Eevee as a new Homebrew app called Vaporeon. This rewrite's going to take a while as I have to make my own port of PKHex's code to C++ instead of using that existing one, because that existing one doesn't support Generation 9, and I want to have Generation 9 support in this rewrite. So this rewrite's going to take a while to make. But just know that it is happening. And to the moderators of the servers I was banned from, hopefully you can see more of my perspective now and potentially unban me, because Pokemon modding and Pokemon porn are both things I really enjoy, and I don't like it when people ban me from servers for those things. It is actually very damaging to my mental health, especially when the ban's for something stupid, like that. Well, I guess it wasn't stupid, as it helped me learn that my approach wasn't very good. But anyway, I think I can be unbanned now because I've learned my lesson. I promise it won't happen again. Sincerely, Benjamin Mickle, aka Mel's best friend. Until next time, TM combustors, electrify your life, combust the TMs.